Presidio Park Natural Preserve in Mission Hills, San Diego, California. And we hypothesize that we're going to see a lot of negative human impact in the area because it's a historic site where a lot of tourists and locals visit.
We anticipate that most of the human impact that we'll be seeing will be negative things, like we're anticipating a lot of litter.
This supports our hypothesis of pretty heavy human impact on this particular forest.
Given the historical significance of this forest and the Presidio that's here, you get a lot of visitors, and that's why there's so much litter and other signs of human presence.
Yeah. We are on our way up to the Presidio right now, and we see some greenery, but we also see some standing deadwood out there in the distance. Given that California has gone through a very intense drought recently, there is evidence that it is affecting nature. However, some of it seems to be growing, but not all of it.
So as you can see here, there's a lot of deadwood on the ground, and we've also seen, as we've been walking through the forest, and in this area in particular, a lot of evidence of drought.
We've noticed that we don't really see a lot or any really signs of wildlife because of the huge human impact. We've seen some awesome monarch butterflies and some birds, but nothing really beyond that.
This area is so well preserved that a lot of humans like to come here, and during the day it is pretty busy with humans, so that could mean that animals would be less likely to appear.
However, we are hoping to find out that not all human impact is bad, because sometimes when humans are involved, it will result in preservation.
So we were pretty excited when we found this tree because it was some of our first evidence of seasonal change. As we know, here in San Diego, we don't see a lot of differences from season to season, but the color of the foliage on this tree definitely points out that it's autumn.
So Presidio Park is the location of the San Diego Mission and the San Diego Presidio, which were the very first European settlements in what is now the western United States in 1769.
The original intention of this Presidio was to guard the mission from Native American attack, but later on, this Presidio and the land it's on were purchased by a San Diego businessman who protected the land and then donated this park to the city of San Diego. Rainfall here in San Diego is about 10 inches per year. Right now we are in the middle of a pretty extreme drought, and we definitely saw evidence of that drought today in the forest in some dying plants and the amount of deadwood that we saw.
It is a managed forest, and it is very evident because not only did we see a park ranger, we saw evidence of what the park ranger did. While we were examining the deadwood, it was evident that it was clumped into small areas so that way other people and citizens could travel through the forest with ease.
San Diego is a desert, so it experiences a semi-arid, pretty mild climate. It's relatively sunny and pretty dry all year, especially because we're in a drought. Overall, we'd say this is a pretty healthy forest just because it's pretty closely managed by the city of San Diego. Since it is a public land that's protected, we feel like that really helps it to thrive without the fear of being impacted by humans. So we did see some litter, but we also know that a lot of that litter has been removed, and we also did see some deadwood, but we know that that deadwood will be removed as well. And overall, we saw a lot of life, even though winter is coming, so a lot of the trees will die just because of the season. But overall, we'd say this is a pretty healthy forest.
Our experience in the forest today proved our hypothesis to be partially correct because we definitely saw strong evidence of human impact in the litter we found, in the way that the deadwood and leaf litter were collected in some areas, and there were established paths. So we definitely saw human impact. However, we also saw that a lot of the human impact was positive and not necessarily just negative things. This is a pretty closely managed forest, and we definitely saw evidence of those efforts of preservation in the forest today.
Especially due to the recent drought, there has been fewer inches of rainfall than in recent years. There is little evidence of fire and insect damage, although there was a brush fire near Presidio Park in 2013.
So overall, we think that the information that we gathered today will be very helpful to the database of Global Forest Watch, because this forest isn't one that's often done by students through this project, and so we think that it'll provide a lot of interesting information, and we also think that it's a great example of a closely managed forest and how that might be different from some other forests in the region.